Welcome to this week's episode of Chess TV. This episode will actually be slightly different from what it usually is. We have, of course, a chess historical episode with Professor Arne Johansson, who talks about the first Finnish chess book. But there will be no chess puzzle, no opening school, and no episode of Machiavelli and me. And that is because we have instead been given the amazing opportunity to hear two of the world's strongest chess players talk about what they know best, chess. Well, as a result of the finish of the Zurich Chess Challenge, a match between the world's second and third highest rated player, Levon Aronian and Vladimir Kramnik, we have, thanks to the American chess journalist Macaulay Peterson, got the chance to hear these grandmasters' thoughts of what inspires them in chess, their motivations, pressure in chess, what experience means in chess, and much more.
In London, during the press conference, I told that, I was asked about my plans for the next coming year, and I said that, actually during the first half of the year I don't really have any single tournament. I was not really asking for anything, it was just an answering the question, and I told that I would like to play somewhere against a very strong opposition, but simply there is no chance because there are no top tournaments during this period of time. And then a friend of mine who was following the tournament, who was listening, also watching, thanks to you, also the live transmission on internet. And then he just called me, said, if you really want, and I'm also actually interested to organize some good chess event. And plus he has his friends, co-sponsors also who also ready to do it. And finally, it just came like this, and I was very happy actually. And then we were thinking about the location where to make it, and for the sponsors Europe was the best possible option. And then where exactly in Europe, we had discussed different ideas, and then I said, by the way, I know very good people in Zurich, they're very good organizers, excellent conditions, excellent place. So finally I connected them with each other and everything went very smoothly. So finally we have this match here in Zurich.
When asked about Aronian's attitude to the match, the star had this to say.
To me, it is more or less a training match and a place, and tournaments where I can feel more pressure than usual, feel more responsibility than usual, because you're playing against one player and he's going to attack you with everything he got. You're not going to play one game, lose it and forget it. He's going to come back at you. So that, I think, will create more psychological pressure and also pressure for the openings and at start. You have 3 games with one color, and if you're, going to run around, then of course you're not going to get into those troubles. But it's a thing you got to feel. Are you going to just challenge your opponent, or are you going to try to avoid his preparation? And I think getting to feel that, getting to understand how you should act is the key to, master the match, the match playing, the challenge of the match. At least the last round will be with white. I won many wins winning the last round, so I'm hoping for it.
Well, Aronian did in fact play with the white pieces in the last round, but he did not achieve his desired win. In the final game, the two players showed a brilliant fight. Aronian took the initiative, but later on overestimated his chances. With a mistake in the 31st move, he allowed Kramnik a very promising exchange sacrifice. However, Kramnik unfortunately spoiled his chances, and Aronian found a very surprising perpetual check in the ensuing endgame, and the game ended in a draw.
Well, experience matters, that's for sure, but Actually, you know, I don't really think about it, you know. I mean, when before a match, I don't really start to judge, you know, oh, he's better here, I'm better there. No, I mean, it's not the way. I think it will not work like this. At least for me, it never worked like this. So I just try to be at my maximum, preparation-wise, you know, mentally and by my shape. Of course, there are certain strategies which you are trying in general to use against specific opponents, but this is always the same, and my opponent is having also his own strategy, and it's absolutely not clear if you manage to get the game exactly where you want. I mean, everybody is trying to get his own game, and you never know, maybe one game you will get what you want, another game he will get what he wants. So I don't concentrate so much on this. I mean, what I concentrate on is basically always my play. I mean, how will I manage to stand the pressure after this long break, which when I didn't play chess, and so on and so on, and just to try to be at my best possible shape and to see what happens. So I'm not really thinking so much about my opponent, with all respect to him. I mean, especially since again it's a training match. It's not an official world championship, and I think that I have to concentrate more on myself. I mean, maybe I would even experiment a little bit. I will see. It depends on. There are quite a lot of, I mean, things which I cannot tell you now. I mean, I don't even know now what I'm going to do in the third game or fifth game. It pretty much depends on my shape, on shape of my opponent, on many things. So I'm quite experienced to make certain adjustments, you know, game by game.
And this is what Aronen had to say about playing chess tournaments often.
Sometimes I felt that, yeah, I have to play an event every 3 months or every 2 months. But I kind of changed my opinion a lot, you know, these days when it comes to that. You know, mainly, you know, connected to situation, because you never know where, you know, your next tournament is going to be, because some of the organizers come up, some of them disappear, and the cycle is not really stable, you know. So I think that's why I can go on playing 3-4 events in a row, and then I can just not play anything, and I think that's not too harmful. Anyway, I mean, hopefully I see myself playing a match one day. I don't know where or when, but that's one of the goals and dreams.
An interesting question around the match was whether the players saw this match as a training match or an exhibition match.
Definitely the main purpose was actually to train for the candidates tournament, which was moved. So finally, okay, I mean, maybe now already knowing that it would be moved, maybe we would also move a little bit our match a little bit further, but okay, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it's good just as an event. I mean, anyway, first of all, I'm happy to play it because I didn't play for a very long time, and I really need to play. I mean, you know, with years it's more and more difficult to make, more and more dangerous to make big gaps without playing, because it's, I know by myself it's getting more and more difficult to get back into the competitive, you know, mood and shape. In this sense, yeah, it's a good training for me. Also, definitely it is an exhibition match, because well, we are not playing for any title like in Moscow, for instance, of course. So it's of course the result is not the main subject, at least for me. I mean, okay, I want to check certain things here in the match. I want to see how will I do facing a very, very strong opponent, because you see the main difference is that when you play a tournament, even the very, very top tournaments like London or Vacanze, okay, I mean, opponents are of course all very strong, but a little bit different level. Yeah, some are very, very top players, some are less, I mean, still very strong, but it's not exactly the same level. So you can more or less try to play safe one game, then a little bit more risky another game. Here it's a bit different story, because you just have every game against the best possible opponent, so, and you have to beat him somehow, because of course you're trying to win a match anyway. So that's also a very good experience for me in the sense of preparing for the candidates tournament. All at the same time, I would say again, for me the result is not the main thing of the, but of course after all, okay, we are concurrents and we are in the top 3, both of us. Of course it's also clear that we have a result in mind. I mean, of course I would be very happy to if I manage to win the match. Okay, that would be a big achievement.
And Aronian was not so far from Kramnik's reasoning.
Well, I think we have different motives for this match. I really would like to play against a strong opponent in the match, because I felt that I really need this. In previous matches, I think I wasn't really doing so well, because I really need to work it out. What is it, to play a match? That was mainly why I decided to play. I mean, of course, playing against Vladimir is anyway, a motive. But the main goal for me in this event is not winning or becoming, raising my elo or anything like that, but just to train and practice to be able to, sustain my psychological situation in upcoming tournaments or important matches.
Macaulay Peterson also asked Kramnik when he first heard about Levon Aronian, and here is his answer.
Well, actually Levon told me that the first time we met was in Yerevan 1996 during the Olympiad, that he was asking that he asked me, in fact his sister asked me to take a photo with him, and he still has this photo when he was a kid. He was just maybe 12 or something, and so he just wanted to take a photo. I was already a top player actually, that's what I don't remember this, of course, because there were many people who were asking me to make a photo, so I don't really remember it, but he still has this photo at his home. And then I've heard already somewhere around maybe 2004 or something like that, 2003 even, quite some time ago, that there is a very, very talented Armenian guy. But by my Armenian friends, but that, okay, I didn't take it too seriously, because of course everybody's saying that, we have every nation, we have absolutely great talent, and not all of them are becoming really top players. So I said, okay, let's see what's going on. But then of course it was becoming more and more obvious, and okay, from let's say 2005, when Levon for the first time won the World Cup, it became quite obvious that he is there seriously and for a long time.
Well, today it's obvious that Levon Aronian was not just a temporary star, but one that today is a natural challenger for the World Championship title. The match between the world's second and third highest rated player ended with the result 3-3 after 6 days of play in Zurich, and as we have heard, the Grandmasters are definitely ready to take on the next challenge. We'd like to thank Macaulay Peterson for these interviews. And now, my friends, it's time for Professor Arne Johansson, who will talk about another kind of challenge for its time, namely writing the first Finnish chess book. Enjoy!
I have talked quite a bit about the first printed Swedish chess book and its author. So today I thought I would say a few words about the first Finnish chess book and its author. It is actually written in Swedish, and Mandal has included it in the list of early Swedish chess literature. But it's definitely Finnish. The title of the book is Grunddrag till schack, or in English something like Elements of Chess, with a subtitle in accordance with J.D. Philidor and P.H. Stamma. Yes, it's actually that subtitle. J.D. Philidor is some kind of misprint for A.D. Philidor. The title indicates the type of contents, but I will first say a few words about the author, Carl Wilhelm Hjelt. He was born 1819 and lived his life in Åbo in Finland, where he died 57 years later, that is 1876. He was a teacher in German and rector of the high school in Åbo. Besides the chess book, he also wrote one tutorial book in mathematics and one in grammar. The Hjelt family seems to have been an influential and successful one in Åbo. And another family member, the bank director Otto Hjelt, was later one of the leading persons when the Helsinki Chess Club was founded in 1886. It is actually still existing. I have in an earlier episode mentioned that the first Finnish chess column was published already in 1851 in the newspaper Åbo Underrättelser, and it was Carl Wilhelm Hjelt who was the editor of this column. That was 1 year before any chess problems appeared in Swedish newspapers. The following year, Hjelt published his book Grunddrag till schack, which today is quite rare, but the Swedish National Library in Stockholm has a copy. It is a rather modest little book comprising 72 pages. And the reason for it to be rare could be that it was considered somewhat old-fashioned already when it appeared. It has no diagrams and took its material from sources of the then already rather old works of Philidor and Stamma. He excuses himself in the foreword for having slightly modified the original material and hopes that the book can be of some use for his countrymen. The title page gives a subtitle in accordance with Philidor and Stamma, and the contents are divided into two parts, simply called the former and the latter. In a style that is close to Philidor's, he describes 9 openings in the former part and 8 in the latter, and simply calls them play 1, play 2, etc. All but one start with the e2 to e4 move, and the material mainly concerns the Italian opening and the King's Gambit. In 4 of the openings, it is actually black who starts the game. The 9th play or section in the latter part describes simple pawn endgame, while play 10 shows how to mate with 2 bishops. Plays 11, 12 and 13 treat some aspects of rook and queen endgames. Grunddrag till schack was not only the first Finnish chess book, it was also the only one published in the 19th century. If you don't count the bound volume of the first Finnish printed chess magazine that appeared only during one single year, namely during 1890. It had the not-so-original title Tidskrift for Schack, or Magazine for Chess. The editor of this magazine was Johannes Öqvist, who also in 1890 was the vice chairman of the Helsinki Chess Club, which that year got its own premises, and chess activities in general started to grow in Finland. The backside of Grunddrag till schack has this chess problem where white has the task to mate black in 10 moves. It is probably a bit too difficult to solve directly, so let's just enjoy the solution of this 10-move problem together, and we will return next week with a new theme, so see you then.
Well, that was all for this week's episode of Chess TV. We would once again like to thank Macaulay Peterson for the interviews from Zurich, and also to take the opportunity to urge you all to follow the world's leading chess journalist on Twitter. You can find him on twitter.com/Macaulay64. See you all next week. Bye.